Alright, I wanted to make this video since a while ago just to warn you not to go. If you get in an accident, don't go to Pacific Elite and Torrance. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. I got a little fender bender. It was minor, but the airbag did go off. And it took about 3 tries. I had to go back a bunch of times, about 3 times, and leave the car there for a week or so until they fixed the details that I wasn't happy with. First of all, it's a brand new car, as you can see. Doesn't even have plates, and they put cheap parts, cheap Chinese parts that just didn't fit. Like, this is all loose. It's not supposed to be like that. This side's all loose too. Just overall, their work, they suck. Don't go there. I don't know if you can see here. Right there, that's a wire. It used to be copper colored, but I called them out on it. So what did they do? They painted it. And if you take this off, which I did, behind it, they wired it because there was these big ass gaps here. All this, you can see these big ass gaps. And I called them out, and they said, "Oh, you know what? It's the parts." They brought us parts that are no good, and I said, "Okay, well, I want Honda parts." Because that's what I was expecting in the first place. Then the insurance okayed it, took it back, took the car apart. Supposedly they changed the parts for OEM, put an OEM bumper, a grill, and everything. And I don't think they did, because the shit just doesn't fit. You can still see these gaps. You can't really tell, but in front of the car you can tell. And it just looks ugly as fuck. Everything is loose on it. That they did a weld job. I don't know why they had to do this, but that. And it was full of weld, was full of holes. It was just nasty. It looked really ugly, and I called them out on it. Took it back. All they did was put Bondo and then paint it over it. The guy was like, "No, that's the way it's supposed to be. That's Honda." And I said, "Nope. Look at this side. Look at how neat it looks. Yeah, it's dirty, but you get it. See how neat it is." Then this part here, it's one piece all the way across to here. One piece. So I guess when they were pulling it, or when they took this apart, it was all scratched and all messed up. And I called them out on it. So my car wasn't like that. So they painted it. This was, I think, the second time I went back. They painted it, but they painted it flat black. Flat black and shiny black. So then I went back and I said, I want to talk to the person that thought that it was a good idea to only paint this, because they only painted this flat black from here all the way to here, because this was all scratched up too. And they painted that, and I called them out and I said, that fucking looks ridiculous. Like, who the fuck, like, who does that? To leave this the shiny color and to paint this flat black. I said, it looks like the car was in a massive accident and it was fixed in somebody's backyard. I took it back, then they fixed it, supposedly. So what they did was just mask off from here, painted that shiny, but then they left this flat black. And if you take it off, because the radiator is also fucking loose. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that, but it wasn't like that. This thing here is curved. I don't know if they just got it from another car or whatever and put it in there. Then yeah, that's their work. The fucking car, none of this shit lines up. I know I pushed it in and tried to adjust it, but there was like a big ass gap. Just the car, you could tell that it was in a fucking huge accident, but it was really just a tiny little fender bender that we rear-ended somebody. Like, really, it wasn't that bad. But none of this shit fits. Everything's fucking loose. There was a big ass gap here that I had to adjust. I had just pushed it. This part here was up, and these things wouldn't, it just looked like it was a mess. So I took it back and I had them fix it. I don't know what they did, but whatever. It looks better. There was also this, the fender was pulled out. It was this big ass gap. And this thing here, it was raining the days that they fixed it, and I guess they left the hood out or whatever. When I went to go pick it up, it was all, it had just nasty ass watermarks. Terrible. So I called them out and they said, hey, that my car wasn't like, oh, you know what, vapor from your engine. I said, no, fuck you. I said, no, Then I had to go back a second week to pick that up. Then they gave me cheap Chinese headlights, and then it rained. So they got all fogged up, and I called them out on it. They gave me supposedly OEM headlights, but it's just been a mess. Then they got this piece. This is one piece, and it was ripped from here. So this flap was all over the place, and I could hear when I would drive, it would just be flapping. Called them out on it. They had to replace it. When I took this piece to look at the wire underneath there, I guess they just clamped the wire on there to hold the bumper together. I noticed that there's all these, I guess there's some cables to some sensors or whatever, and they're just dangling. They broke the clips. They didn't even put the clips back. There was a couple hoses. This hose was over here somewhere, and they just don't go there, man. If you can avoid it as much as you can, don't go there. Or make a video like I am for proof, because this car is a lease, and when I turn the car back in, I don't want any problems. This is the job that they did, and I'm just letting you guys know, don't go to Pacific Elite in Torrance. Don't go there. Don't go there.